It's more expensive in the long run.
Do a little bit during the day, take a couple
When
hours
you
off
fix
to
it
work
by
all
digging
night,
and
sleep a
fixing
little
it, you're
bit.
just digging one hole.
Understood.
But when you fix it that by trenching, you gotta dig a hole where you wanna set the boring machine.
Yeah.
And you gotta dig a hole.
They're gonna build a road that's gonna connect over here to Stonecrest.
Curbside.
They're putting in a fire station, right, a substation here.
Copper pipe on the
So like
city
this
side
is the
of
tennis courts right in here.
Nobody there, yeah.
This whole bottom, they wanna put it into
Because if it would have been led past that, then
Honorable Mayor,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Honorable Mayor.
Family reunion.
One just for your reading.
Homecoming, so like, I'll just go.
We've
prepared
had,
today.
bullets.
we've had, 3 mailboxes go down this year on Rabbit Trail because it connects to all this stuff now.
Boy, I'm starting to feel pretty good
And
sitting
then-
up
Ran
here.
out
Mayor
first,
on one
so-
side, Councilman on the other.
See, our Rabbit Trail comes down
Don't get used to it.
in terms of.
Don't get used to it.
This whole area would be
Thank you, that's a good
I
idea.
kinda thought they were just preparing you for the next step.
in our.
Yeah,
That's right.
hey, yeah,
What are you gonna see? All the lights, all the other stuff.
I guess we're on,
We are
and
live.
I keep it.
we might as well get this party started. Like to call this meeting of the City of Washington Board of Public Works meeting Tuesday, September 27th, 7:30 a.m. to order. Roll call, please.
John Beatmeyer,
Here.
Brad Mitchell, Mike Ratatek,
Here.
Steve Richardson.
Here.
Steve Struberg,
Here.
Mike Coulter,
Here.
Wayne Reed.
Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for joining us this morning. First matter is the minutes. If anybody has any changes, suggestions, comments, or a motion to approve?
Approve. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Minutes approved, thank you very much. Okay, now we get to start spending money. Any priority items first, Kevin?
No priority items.
Nothing there?
Nope.
Wastewater, we've got bills. We've got a bill for Vanaventer Engineering. Go ahead.
Want to do them one at a time, or you want to rattle them all off? All these were budgeted, except for one, so we'll do them one at a time. All right, the Vandeventer one, this was a budgeted item to completely rebuild our Westlink lift station. What our Westlink lift station used to be was what they call a dry can system. We had a wet well, and then there was a operating can next to it, which was about 30 feet deep, and down in the bottom of that was 2 pumps and controls that pulled the sewage out of the wet well and then pumped it through and pumped it up a force main up through Westlink up to West Main Street. It was extremely old. It was dangerous, to say the least, as far as safety-wise, with having men down in a hole that deep with electrical stuff that was getting older and older that could spark or shock somebody. You never know what could happen. Plus it had leakage of sewage getting into it with a sump pump down the bottom, so we always had sewer gas down the bottom of it. So we budgeted the replacement of it. That is what we call this is the last one of our big 4 stations that we have. We did Walnut Street 10 years ago. That was our first big one. That's our main one that pumps half the sewage to the treatment plant. We then did M.E. Frike Drive. Doesn't seem to be that big, but it was an important one because it brings all of the waste from Frike's Meats, which is a meat processing plant, which is a lot of greases and BODs and stuff. That always said we didn't want that that station to go out and then overflow, because then it would have overflowed into the bird sanctuary area there, which would not have been good either. So we did that one. Then our next one was West End Lift Station, which is, believe it or not, actually pumps 3/4 of what comes from the west side down to Walnut Street. That one is done. We made that one submersible, and then our last one was the Westlink one, which picks up all of the industrial park out on the west side of town, and all the new industrial park and everything out there. So there was a need to do it, so this one is our last big one. Now we just have small ones we'll be working on. We're trying to bring everything up to the 20th century instead of the 19th century. So,
So you need a request to pay?
yes, need a request to pay, yes.
So moved.
Very good job. My guys and the Vanderventer guys worked together on that one hand in hand. We actually tore it apart and put it back together in 1 week. Got it running, so it was
right.
a really good project.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any comments, questions?
Kevin, what's the shelf life of this?
This one here will be
20 years?
20, 30 years. Somebody else will be worrying about
Somebody
it.
else will be
Somebody else will be
replacing it.
worrying about it when it
Keep it in the
needs to be
minutes
done.
so they can bring it up and follow up.
Yes, and all of our new stations that we did, we actually put bypass systems in them, so if a station would go out, we can set a pump up and bypass pump too, so that looks really good when the DNR comes in and does what they call sanitary survey, and we walk around the lift stations. We can, not only do we have a dual station system, but we also have a backup. If something goes wrong, we can set a pump and a bypass pump, so.
All right.
It's a little feather in our hat when we do that kind of thing, so.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. We'll send it on to council. Let's talk about the, well, this is same no, this is Walnut Street. isn't it?
Well, this is Walnut and the treatment plant. This is Midwest Elevator. At Walnut Street, we have what they call a man lift, and at the treatment plant, we have a man lift because Walnut Street is a kind of a different dry run system. All the pumps are in a big dry wet well that's as deep as the wet well outside, and these were all previously when we did this, we put the same kind of pumps in there, but we have a lift in there to lift people down to work on them.
Right.
It's called a man lift. The state elevator marshal group, I hate to say we're well, a lot of DNR stuff is happening this way. We're seeing a lot of new things coming up that weren't before but was rules. And there's a new state marshal for elevator safety. He decided to start following the requirements of the state. So there was things that we had to do to our man lift that had been okay for
Right.
years that this year became not okay.
Yeah.
So we had to get them repaired. So I went out for bids for these. I think I brought all this to you guys too. It was either Midwest Elevator or Tyson Krupp, which is TKE now. Midwest Elevator was a low bid on the repairs, so this is a request to pay them for the repairs.
Yeah.
On this.
I was
The
curious.
repairs are complete, right?
Yes, they are complete, and it's amazing how they seem to operate even better now than what they did in the past for some reason. But
Yeah, looking at their work tickets, it was a violation repair scope of work.
yes, it was.
We'll
Yes, it
learn
was.
more about that.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Okay, so we've got a bill for, where'd it go? $5,718.11. Is there a
Yes.
motion to approve?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, aye. Aye. Approved. Thank you very much. We'll send that one on for payment. And last but not least, Lindbergh Commercial Services. Now we're out at the treatment plant.
Yes, now we're at the treatment plant. This is a repair of one of the RTUs out there. This is normal operational repairs, but I wanted to bring it to you guys so you could see some of the costs of what it's costing to operate that plant down there. Just getting the repairs done is getting more expensive. That treatment plant is 13 years old. We just lost another VFD. I know we've had this conversation it seems like almost every month when we have a meeting. Another one of the VFDs went out, which is a variable frequency drive unit that operates the disc aerators on the VLR, vertical loop reactor. I'm trying for the people that don't understand what them little acronyms, I know you guys do, but some don't. So there's another one out. Guess what I'm saying is that, and I did raise the budget this year to replace 2 of them this year because they're sitting at right about just a hair under $6,000 each, and it's taking 18 to 20 weeks to get them.
Well, didn't we have this discussion like in October or something and we were gonna order multiple ones, or?
Yes, and I'm sitting waiting for one to come in right now.
Okay, so we ordered multiple
We
ones, we
ordered
just
them,
don't
just
have
not
them.
getting them
Okay.
in, yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so, just that's it, but this isn't for the VFDs, but my point is that everything at the plant is about reaching its shelf life. So we're gonna be looking at, cost. Again, more the reason why I know, we hate to think about it and hate to say it, but we do need a wastewater increase. We won't be able to keep doing it. We gotta have an increase or we're not gonna be able to operate.
Right,
We're just not gonna be able to.
yeah.
And that's just for operational side, that's not for.
Well, and that's the public education thing that, you know, behind the scenes, we see what kind of money it takes to run the system, both water and wastewater, but if it doesn't get out of this room into the public, and I know we do a pretty good job of letting them know what we're doing, but that's gonna make a difference.
I just got a notice from Spire, well, it's a notice for meetings. They're requesting to have an increase approved, probably everybody's got it, you guys got it too, so we will see that same 8% increase,
Yeah,
an almost 9% increase when it happens, and it will happen, so.
yeah,
At least some of it will happen.
Yeah.
I mean, when they do it, they pretty much know they're gonna get a portion of it. They
They ask for a lot and get what they, yep.
they get something.
okay, we have a motion, or we have a proposal to pay the $9,542 to Lindbergh Commercial. Do I have a motion?
I so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Let's send that on to council and pay the bill. Anything else on wastewater? We're doing good other than,
No, we're doing good. We've actually, we're doing some Mr. Manhole work.
I
We
saw
replaced,
that, yeah.
4 of them over here on 4th Street. 5 of them, right? 4. 4 over here. We did 5 over on the sunny side, 11th Street area over by the high school. We're following the overlay stuff that's been done.
Are these the manholes on this road right here that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that we cut out, and then we had to fill back up with rock because we couldn't get concrete, so then we had to suck the rock back out of them, yeah. The other dilemma of trying to do work.
Because I
Just
saw
getting
it the other day and we'd just redone the road.
Yeah, well, we do that with all overlay. When there's a manhole, that's gonna get covered, what they used to do in the old days was, I say old days, just a few years back, was they'd go through and then they'd, cut out around the manhole, and then they put up what they call a riser ring in to try and get it to the elevation, and then over about 2 years later, that riser ring would start wearing out, and then the manhole would flip and flop, and the lid would come out and get stuck underneath somebody's car, and we'd have to go out and do something anyway. So what we do now is we've had this Mr. Manhole system, oh God, I've been in this position almost 15 years, probably 13 years, I guess, probably how long we've had that.
Yeah.
We bought it early on, to be able to do this. And we've used the heck out of it, so, and the good thing is that, with our ArcGIS, with engineering and the mapping we have, we also have a map that shows all of them that we've done, the ones we need to do, so we can just pull that map up and know where they went in an overlay and know, oh, we gotta go do these, so the things are just transitioning so good here with, our ability to track stuff is really nice.
Good.
But yeah, so,
Good.
and the Mr. Manhole seals up the frame and lid and the top of the manhole, so it does a good job, it does a good job.
All right, let's
Wastewater.
check out the water system.
All right, water system's doing good. The biggest thing is, to me, the biggest thing that's happened this year, and we've done a lot of big things, but this water line that we put in from Stonecrest to Phoenix Center. Well 10 was put in 2001. The water system out there was all ran, we did that back in 2000. So there's 12-inch lines running along South Point Road, but it was dead-ended at Deutschcrest and Stonecrest, and then it was dead-ended at Phoenix Center when we put all that water line in, all 12-inch. And the goal was to get that line put in when well 10 was in. But we fought and argued and argued and argued, and we could never get that line in. And I have to thank John for his ability to work with the road district, just like we did up on South Point. We got that line in since 1975, we was able to get that line in. And South Point, we finally got that in this year after 20 years of,
Trying to get
seems
it in.
like 20, may not have been 20, but it sure seems like 20. But anyway, trying to get it in. So what this did was this improved the function of well 10, because I know I've always talked to stories about how the pressure jumped by 30 pounds when it kicked on because it was a 12-inch going into 8-inch and all this other stuff. Well, we finally got a 12-inch discharge coming from well 10 into Phoenix Center, which dropped our pressures down from 74 to 54 operating pressure, which it really doesn't seem to have affected Stonecrest too much because we haven't gotten any calls and complaints about it. The top end is down by about 19 pounds, which is the high pressure side, which dropped, but the low pressure side, when the well shuts off, didn't change. So the low pressure side didn't change. So I think that's the reason why we're really not hearing anything, because the low side didn't change. I know I talked to one person out there, and they haven't really noticed any difference, and their property is probably one of the highest properties out there. So that's a good.
So now those two dead ends are in a loop?
So now that dead end is in a loop, yes. Now it comes out well 10, it does go into Stonecrest, but it comes out well 10 into Phoenix Center, then goes out Phoenix Center, crosses underneath the highway, 100 goes into West Fifth Street, East Fifth Street, and then runs all, and then now it's spidering throughout town a lot quicker and easier. The well actually is now producing about 42 gallons per minute more than what it did when it was operated the other way.
Really?
Less head restrictions, so more flow can come out.
Oh, okay.
So
Makes sense.
anyway, that's the South Point Waterline saga.
That's that.
That's that.
And what about the storage tank going up the hill from all that?
We're still, I haven't heard anything. I think what we're still waiting on is just pricing, I think. Just estimating of bids, or I know the price is high, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have,
Kind
I
of
mean,
hold off.
design's probably 90% completed, but we put a grant in with Missouri Department of Natural Resources, ARPA money. They had some dollars available. We won't know if we were successful in that until probably mid-October. So once we have that, then we'll know that. If we are not successful in getting that grant, we also put in an ARPA grant through the county, through Franklin County. They have 22-ish million sitting there. 10 million of that can go to roadway projects. I would imagine that they'll take that 10 and put it towards street projects in the county. But that leaves 12-ish million available to whatever they deem eligible. But we did put an application in for that as well. So that's what it's waiting on, is really, are we gonna be successful in getting offsetting some of our own local
We have
funds?
about 3 grants that we've applied for, or 4, a couple of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we
Think
got,
you went through all
Yeah,
those.
you went through them last meeting, I think.
yeah, South Point, Water Tower, South Point Sewer, and then we got Force Main upgrade on Front Street, and then Oldenburg Industrial Park. So there's 4.
Okay.
So we'll know or what we are waiting on is we're just gonna hang tight to see if we get the cash. It's probably in everybody's best interest to do that, so.
Sounds good, thank you. Any other comments, questions on water? Keep the pressure up,
Do our best.
keep the leaks down.
Keep the leaks down on both sides.
Any other business? Any other old business? Our next meeting is scheduled for October 25th. No further business, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, aye?
I may not be here on October 25th.
Okay,
Let me look at my calendar. I may be down at a conference. Yes, I will be at the Missouri Rural Water Association Conference. It's the annual conference I go to. So we may have to reschedule that, or I may have to have John run it for me, so. But anyway, we'll figure that one out. I'll let you know.
Okay.
We'll leave it at this right now, and we'll let you know.
gonna leave it at that, but since you two are here, if we moved it up a week, would that work for you two?
What would the date be?
18th?
I believe I'll be here on the 18th.
No, I won't be.
You won't be?
No, I'll be in
So we'd
Columbia.
have to check. So we'll have to check around, Sarah, and make sure where we have to move it and who can come.
Like I said, John can run it if he has to.
Yeah, John can.
John can handle it.
can run it.
I'll have Carrie and Chad here if you know.
Well, okay, we could do
So
that.
let's just leave it at 27th and
All right,
and we'll
okay.
work. Yeah, we'll work it around.
No problem. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Saw that.
Ooh, I get to sign some.
It's not easy.
Yeah, well, actually, you know, we don't do too many outside jobs anymore, but I'm gonna go do a porch real quick.
Oh, there you go. Good time to do it.
Get that done. Hopefully it'll be another, well, I'll be retired.
Kevin, don't work.
Next.